It's a disservice, right? Yeah, I would think so too. I would think so as well. Well, let's go ahead and get started. You guys have listened to me long enough. So Ashley made it back last night, almost 12, 1 o'clock last night. She finally made it back after a long journey from Texas. So I'm very happy to see that, and happy to have her back in the house. So I might be sending out our merchandise now, right? So I have all these boxes behind me. We talked about that yesterday morning. So I'll be taking some time today with her, writing some thank you cards, and sending those out um, to our members. So can't wait to do that. Anyways, ES futures running up here on the weekly. You can see we hit our target at 45.34. And prices rejected there so far. Yesterday, it was all about the daily edges, our scripts that we use here. And you can see price pushed into the daily edge. It rejected as it's supposed to. And we wake up this morning again on a 4 hour inside and down. And let me just go ahead and point this out to you really quick. So price pushed up into this inside and down and the trendy scripts. And we look for resistance here. It did indeed resist. And then we are currently making the same formation that we did yesterday. Okay. And during these formations, what we look for is support to the downside because the overall trend, the banners to the upside, are saying bullish. Okay. And because they're saying bullish, you're looking for support. So it's okay if we resist and chop a little bit and go sideways. Okay. So here we are going sideways, right? And the support at the moment is that 4 hour 9 EMA cloud. Okay, for me, I use the 9 and the 22 and the 44, and then I got some fast moving averages as well if I'm just trying to get in and out really quick. So the support so far is working. The range where I could see an expectation of range today would be 45.20. So write this down, 45.20 into 45.42. And I'm just going to go with the same idea as yesterday, that it is chop until it's not. All right, and that really helped out yesterday. We did well, and I'm going to continue using that thesis for today. And the reason why we do this is because the bigger trend, right, is very bullish, but we also need time for things to digest. And I pointed out a couple chaotic candles for you. This guy over here, and there's one down here somewhere as well. But when we have those sort of chaotic candles, or those explosive igniter candles, as some people would call it, your little yellow flag should go off and say, okay, wait, price has left too fast from that area. And when prices move too quickly, and then we run out of retail traders, right? They start getting like, well, I'm not sure I want to buy up here at the top. Then price will pull back and go back to the area where it remembers, right? Buyers being there. Now, a lot of traders out there will, have all sorts of different reasoning behind this. Hey, there's a volume area here. This is where the most volume comes in, and there is some truth behind that because where you see these formations and you see these levels, you're also going to see volume there. Really, right? And so, instead of trying to get too technical about things, just look at the candles. The bigger the candle, the bigger the volume, the bigger the buying pressure, the more demand. So when things start to go back and they start to pull back and you see lower lows, start looking down and to the left and look for those bigger candles. Okay? It's the first thing you want to be paying attention to. So again, so far the 9 EMA working. We have lower highs and higher lows that equals a sideways trend. Very straightforward. Okay? All right, so ES futures, chop until it's not. My range for today, 45.20 by 45.42. Let's wait to see what happens in here. Anything that you're trying to trade in the middle is going to be speculation. I prefer not to speculate right now. I either want a higher high or I want lower lows. I don't care what's in the middle. Okay? Let's go ahead and move down here. I have some focus trades for today that I want to go over. Some of those include your trade plans for this week. All right, and those trade plans have worked out very well. All right, so first thing on the list is I have some Netflix right here. Okay, now this is circulating out there, and there's a couple things I want to show you what other traders are looking at, and then I'll show you what I'm looking at. So on the weekly,
One thing you need to take into consideration is the personality of Netflix. It's never been that easy of a trade. Although we've had some great trades in here, the overall probability is it's not that easy. And the reason I say that, you can tell by its topping wicks. Okay, look at this, folks. This has been going on quite some time. And if you think about it, when traders were trying to buy the breakouts or these highs, they got stuffed. They got rejected over and over. So the easiest place to buy Netflix is lower on the curve. What do you mean by lower on the curve, John? Well, if we take the top and wicks and say that's the high of the curve, okay? So we're just going to put on here high of curve, okay? And then down here where we're finding support, okay? Just right in this area, we're going to say low on the curve. All right, low on curve. Well, guess what? It's easier to buy Netflix lower on the curve. Okay, it's not as easy to try to buy high on the curve. And what we would look for and what we would think about is okay, if I try to take the trade high on the curve, the probabilities of me being correct are pretty low. Okay, they are. So, because of that, if I decide to take that trade, I need to think about allocation and time. Okay, very important. If I buy lower on the curve, I still want to buy time, but my probabilities are higher that the trade's going to work out. My point today is we are high on the curve, folks. Okay? A lot of technical traders are looking at the same thing. And if I was an MM or somebody with a lot of money and I wanted to stuff it in your face, this is about the time that I'd be waiting for you to walk up to the plate. Okay? So I want you to think about that. All right? So what are some ideas that I could do around this? I could sell some call credit spreads, and I could use this high over here at around 585 to 590. If it made sense, I would have to look at the risk to reward there. Also, if I want to just go naked directional to the upside on a 4-hour candle, this is what I'm looking at, is if we come into the support around the 9 EMA or in this support box, 567 by 563, then I want to wait until we actually reclaim these levels. Okay? I've showed you this all week, and we've done very well on the dip buy into support because the overall trend is extremely bullish here on Netflix. So once again, let's look at the 4-hour pattern. You can see here that things look the same every single morning. Folks, boom. Buying the top is not easy. Comes back to the 9 EMA, it's a lot easier. Boom. Trying to buy the top, didn't work. Buy it at the 9 EMA, a lot easier. Same thing, same thing. You guys get the point. This is a continuous pattern that you're seeing here on Netflix. So, buying low on the curve on a 4-hour means buying closer to the 9 EMA on the 4-hour, not trying to buy the open. Okay? So, what I'll be looking for this morning is a pullback into this area. And once we get into this area, I'll be looking for prices to the upside. Now, an extension on Fibonacci gets you at or around 580. It is Wednesday, so from a weekly perspective, could it happen? Yes, but trend really needs to be on our side. So depending on how much time, I probably don't want to go out too far. The market is kind of at, it's at its highs. And so I'd probably be looking at a little bit more time. But once again, for me, I'm patient. I'm going to wait for it to come in here. If price can't come in here and start to reclaim, then I'm just not interested. I went ahead and just put some notes under here and said void under. Where that void under is actually under 563. Okay, so let me go ahead and draw this out so I can make this very clear. If price starts to drop, I'm watching. Hey, it breaks down. I'm not watching anymore. What I do is come over here and I set an alert, and then I want to know when it gets at or above the top of that neutral. Then I start to get interested again. There's no reason for me to sit here and stare at the chart. I'm not going to make price do, it's not either going to go up or down just because I'm looking at it. Okay? So I'll just wait for my levels and stay patient. All right, so the next one, moving on down here, is going to be Microsoft. We have OCO. If you guys were able to join me yesterday during that education piece, which was very, very handy, I hope you were able to tune in. If not, I have an OCO in, and you can learn about how I do those on the Pro membership. I have a video explaining. And an OCO
is simply this. I have Microsoft, once it breaks a certain level and then it raises X percentage of the option price, I will then be long, and you'll see that come through on the transparent alerts that we have. Okay. Next one is going to be Fubo. All right, and Fubo we did very well yesterday. Matter of fact, I love when Trendy Trading is there before the masses, and that's the whole idea of trading the way we do, right? A lot of traders, if you just kind of watch around, you watch the news, you watch FinTwit and so forth, we'll be in a trade, and typically we're selling to people as the masses start to get, really hyped up about something, right? So we bought Fubo lower on the curve. We got this big push yesterday, and guess where Trendy sold? We sold at the predetermined targets of 29.55. I can't make this up. As price got closer, this is where we closed out. It's an amazing trade. Congrats. So what do I do now? I'm still interested in Fubo because I think the overall projection of this is up towards 31 and 35. Okay? But just like everything else I showed you this morning, I want to know two different things. Can we make a pivot high, or do we come back in to the support at around the 9? Notice that this is a chaotic candle as well. This is an igniter candle. It took off too fast. When things take off too fast, we wait for them to come back in to find buyers once again. If the support level doesn't work, then we head back into the origin of the move. Okay? Pretty straightforward. So again, wait for the pivot highs or wait for support. I'll be patient this morning and wait for that. All right, moving on down here. Also have some PayPal. All right, so PayPal, it's up for us this morning. Congratulations. That was not, I wouldn't say it's a hard hold. It wasn't an easy hold, though. It pulled back yesterday. But once again, I want to go over that with you. Notice when it pulled back yesterday, it came into the 9 EMA. This keeps me confident that the support is still there because the overall trend banners, again, this is a trendy thing, right? This is why we are called trendy. Trend is my friend. And I have these built up scripts that look for certain percentages and ranges across the board all the way since inception. And this is letting me know to stay on the right side of the trade. It's also letting me know don't think about getting short, John, unless these banners change. Matter of fact, if price is pulling back and the banners are green, I'm looking for support, right? If they're red and we're pulling back, then I want to be on that short side. But guess what? These are not red. All right. So this morning, big deal here. Same thing. Pivot 292.66 roughly. I didn't try to get exactly, but if that alert takes off, then guess what? I know we're headed in the right direction. I love that. If we start to break down below the 9 EMA, then guess what? It's another sideways trend, and I might not stay in it. This is a weekly trade. Let's go ahead and keep moving down here into our next one, Starbucks, which was a trade plan for everybody. This one's been beautiful. Congratulations. You can see here, we gave you this level down here, which was the trendy edge. We were looking for support off the inside and up. We were looking for the break of the weekly cloud. Both of those happened. And currently, from that support, we're up about $3. Okay, you're at 118 this morning. All right, and what you should be looking for, guess what? It came into our target. Okay, and now we're looking for support. You're starting to see a theme here across the market. So even if you don't like any of the plays that I'm looking at, I guarantee you that most of the charts you're looking at are going to look exactly the same. Okay? Exactly the same. So look for that 4-hour 9 to be support until it's not. And look for your upper targets to be resistance until they're not. Look for choppy until it's not. Moving on down here, Lulu. As I pointed out this morning, $7 or $8 from the trade plan. You waited for the break of the neutral to the upside. We hit T1. Man, I'm really starting to see a theme here. Almost every chart I've given you this week has worked very well. Just taking the plans and looking for the targets, trimming or closing at targets, and then waiting for support. Now this one's a little bit different on the 4-hour. This is actually underneath the cloud. Personally, I don't like things underneath the cloud unless they're at a trendy level. Notice that price is at a trendy level. And if you buy off the level, you're making a little bit of money to the upside. And resistance is going to be the top of that cloud from underneath, which is around 403. I'm not really interested in Lulu. Matter of fact, I'd much rather sell call credit spreads if they made sense from a risk to reward scenario. Okay, and the reason why is because we have the inside and downs formations, which tells me that we have resistance. Okay. All right, so for you guys, if you have anything that you'd like me to take a look at, please let me know. We have about 8 minutes. I want to be finished here in about 4 minutes and get ready so I can just kind of focus this morning. We do have, also, we have Hood. I say we, I don't have an army in my pocket. That's just me. I'm short Hood. And what I'm looking at, and let me go ahead. This was the trade plan from yesterday, folks. And this is how you execute a trade plan. Price pushed up into the levels, and these are the arrows that I gave you. Okay. And so I waited for price to move up, and then I waited to see how it was going to react to the area where I said void the short over. So this is like the reverse of what we were looking at yesterday, right? So I went ahead and went short. It's popped a little bit, and I have an alert here at 44.61. If it closes over this level by Friday, then I probably won't be in it. Okay, and depending on how the options react over this level, so say we come up here and then the premium really starts falling off, then I'll look to maybe just close the position. On close yesterday, I think we were up or it was flat. I'll be looking to see if price can break down further, obviously. And I want to have an alert underneath this pivot low. Okay. The box down there is kind of what I expect for HOOD. Okay. So at or below. And so really I'm just neutral in here. And this thing's, I wouldn't say volatile. It sort of is because it's a newer issue. And so it just reacts funny. Now most IPOs, they have this personality as well. And what I see is that a lot of times they catch buyers at the top. Can you imagine that? I mean, seriously. Someone's probably out here listening to me thinking, yeah, that was me, right? Well, guess what? This is pretty common with IPOs. And one thing you could do is trade it, make some quick money, but man, I'm never a big holder if you're trying to trade something like this on the open. Matter of fact, the common thing is for this thing to come down either into about 88.7% of the origin of this move, okay? Or it makes a 23.6 extension to the downside, and then we base for a while, and then we start to come back. This is where I want to be right about here. All right, so for the long side, I'd much rather wait until we start to get over the 50, 51 area, or wait until we come down maybe into the 35 to 30 area. Okay? That's just me. Yeah, so Roku is a great one, man. And so these debit spreads that I have on right now, Omer, is I'm thinking about letting go of some of the short side. All right, and the reason why is because we've been hanging out at this higher time frame inside and up for quite some time. And you know what's really interesting about the inside and up? These huge candles. So if you go back to what I was just talking about, um, there is definitely some interest here at these levels. And what's interesting is that we cannot get any kind of traction through here. All right, notice that it's accumulating and just shares are being bought at this level. That's what it looks like. And the reason why I am making that assumption is because, once again, nice demand out of here, and price is just kind of hanging out at the origin of this move. All right. So, again, this is your trendy edge. Notice that price is hanging above there. Things start to look better once we can move over 357. Current price is 354. Now I say moving over. This is a higher time frame. This is a higher time frame edge. And so we need to, I need to wait for at least a week to see if we can close over 357. So just because price might go over 357 this morning, I need to see by Friday that we start closing over 357. All right. Then things start to look really interesting back up towards 4 to 420. Okay. So I hope you guys are ready to trade. I know I am. And then, oh, and we took some skills this morning. Took some SKLZ, and I plan to add in several different places. I'm not going to go over that this morning because I am live out there on several different platforms. And so I'm going to keep that trade to myself, but it looks great. I mean, SKLZ, I will tell you yesterday when I finished my day and I was doing a couple things, I wanted to buy it at 12. So I noticed it was up a few pennies, and I was thinking about you, Geo, and I was like, I think it's a good time to buy skills. And then I woke up this morning, it's already at 13.50, and it sure was a good time to buy, right? But it's getting low. I mean, it's so low on the curve, man. It's like, I like the name, and it's inexpensive right now. So, all right, guys, so don't forget to check out the free blog at trendytrading.co. Don't forget to check me out on TikTok as well. It's Trendy Trading, I believe. And I do a lot of cool stuff there where, well, I'm trying to build some content there and not only just show you trades, but also just my personal life and, what I go through as a trader. It's not always the best. By the way, I'm drinking out of my butterfly coffee mug, so some of my veteran traders in here know what that means. Butterfly is a good thing. All right, let's get over here on the things that matter right before we open up. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the SPY, Qs, DIA, and IWM. Okay, so I'm going to auto zoom here. I had to restart this morning, so things are just kind of out of whack. And so the neutral strategy, if you traded that this week, things are looking really good. We have hit some targets to the upside on SPY. Also on QQQ, I think it was Monday, we did like 150, 160% on SPY. The Qs worked really, really well. The only one that has not set up is DIA, the Dow Jones, the Diamonds, hasn't done anything. And guess what? IWM is trying to poke its little head out here, and that's why I'm looking at some of these smaller cap names. My thesis, it's not been easy, but my thesis going forward into the end of the year, we had this huge run up in the beginning of the year. We did really well in December and January, just like everybody. And then I feel like we just gone sideways the entire year, down to sideways. And maybe towards the end of the year, we're going to get another push in the small caps. We'll see though. Okay. All right. All right. PayPal's at about. These are, not killing it or anything, but you can watch it there. It is positive. MU's up this morning. We had the long term there. Spotify is up. Tesla flat. Hood's down just a little bit. So let's see how things are going to react here. We're going to take you to the ES futures just really quick. And we're only up about 8 points. I think the top this morning was like 17 or so. Remember, we're talking about that inside and down. We did break the 9 EMA. All right. And again, chop until it's not. I have a red box here and I have a green box. Okay. Now, this was based off of yesterday's levels. I want you to notice that we do have the daily edge. It's right down here. And we have the daily edge that's right here. So the idea during chop is for me to use my intraday scripts. Okay, intraday. You short when underneath this, and long when I come into here. Okay. And Baba's up again. That's another man. I apologize. I meant to put that into. Let's get over here. I meant to put that into our trade plans this morning.
because I want to shoot for the YE at 180, 185. And I'm going to come over here. I know, you know, Chinese names, they're sketchy. Apple at 153, 154. Nice. Finally getting close to that 155 level, huh? Also, I had the OCO that's on Microsoft. So you guys might see that go off as well. Who am I listening to? Oh, I see YouTube. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, this is that link that Hattrick sent to me. That's what that is. This was one of those guys that were in our room. That's funny. Okay, I'm not too. Oh, three. Let me see something really quick. Okay. Okay, that's right. It needed to be over 304.78, I think, is what it was. Got it. Let's come up here and look at some Bitcoin. Amazon 3500. That blueprint also working very well. And you can see here, straight from support, all the way into our targets here. It hit, what, one, two, three targets, four targets, 35.95. Looks like it wants all-time highs. Pretty crazy. All right, Netflix, let's go ahead and look at this plan. Got very close to our support. Is now pushing up. And like I said, the personality of this guy is topping wicks. So trying to buy the breakout is not always that easy. My mindset when going into this is just to stay relaxed and think about time. And let me see here, 17 September, looking at 580. Let me see what those look like. Those are 620 by 645. And let's look at the weekly. Let's see what we got here. Alright guys, so I just added to my SKLZ. This is going to be a little bit longer term. This is not an intraday trade. So I'm just kind of building a position here. And I have pre-determined areas I want to be buying. And just kind of building that position. So I'd like to buy on the dips, and then if we could take out highs, then I'll add again. Lots of patience this morning as the market is trying to find some footing here. You know, this is not rocket science. I'm starting to see a lot of traders. Everybody's like, you know, you can't be wrong. which really raises a big yellow flag for me, if not a red flag. Everybody knows how to trade right now, right? I have my prayer beads on today. I've been wearing these often. Somebody's asking me what those were. I can't sleep with them though. I slept with them the other night, and I had like when I woke up, I had these big pushed down. You know what? I just realized the water is absolutely beautiful today, guys. I swear, it felt like we were in a hurricane for the last 2 days. We were getting some of those winds coming off of Hurricane Ida, and it was pretty bad here. It's all about patience this morning, folks. All about patience. Probably one of the most hardest things to do in trading is to be patient. But like I kept showing you, we had a 9 EMA and we have a pivot high, and that's what I want you to concentrate on. Okay? If neither one happens, I don't do anything. Okay? I was bummed, so I went shopping yesterday and picked myself up a couple hats. I love hats, and I have so many. I try to wear a different hat all the time, and I got so Ashley got home right, like I said last night, and then she asked me what was in the bag, and I was like, well, I went shopping, and I pull out my hats to put them on, and none of them fit, and I'm like, immediately I start getting worried. I'm like, is my brain swollen? Like this is weird. I always have the certain notches on my hat, you know, and then I find out I bought some kids' hats. Not very smart. Coop 255 call shot. Let's see. COUP. All right. About to break that weekly cloud too, man. Let's see if it can get over. If it can, you can definitely see that, man. That'd be sweet. Shit, I would say 260 maybe. Let's see what those look like. How much does this move? ATR 23 for the week. 135 by 190. Man, I love those wide spreads, don't you? Baba's still running. You guys rooting for Twilio? All right, Baba getting very close to the weekly edge here. I'd expect a little bit of resistance at or around this level. But like I said, the 17 September's, looking at the 185s,
Those are pretty inexpensive, and what I'm shooting for is this right up here, this blue line right there. So we'll see if we can get over this. What do you guys think? Inside and up on the weekly. It's getting a break, getting very close to breaking over the previous high of last week. So we'll take a couple, let's see, live alerts. Just want to show you guys this real quick. Oops, let me hide my members real quick. There we go. All right, so these are my alerts. They come in immediately, so I'm just going to show you guys real quick. I'm going to buy a couple of these Babas. All right, they executed, and boom, there's the price, the time, the strike, everything's right there. I do expect it to pull back a little bit here, so I'll look at adding if that happens. If it keeps breaking out, that's okay too. Yeah, let's get over here. What else we got going on? Airbnb looks really good from a weekly perspective. It's breaking over the weekly cloud again. This thing looks like it could get going. You could see 157, 158 today. Let's see what those look like. $150 by 166. Not bad.